right? It did not create a clear change of character. So it might easily just sweep this liquidity on Monday. Hey, what's good, everybody? It's your man, Prof Zones and Prof Line for Professor, but for profits. Yeah, my voice is a little down. Hey guys, it's been a hectic weekend, but nonetheless, let's get straight into it. As you can see, these are the main zones that we were looking at, right? These are the main zones that we were looking at, and basically, what we were looking at is simply this for the market to push deeper into this fair value gap, at least 50% of it, give us a change of character, push all the way up into this H4, sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency, and then give us another change of character, and then drop to fill this fair value gap, this daily fair value gap fully. So what ended up happening is basically that, right? The only difference is we filled this fair value gap fully and tapped into this order block right there. And then we pushed all the way up to tap into this H4 fair value gap fully, but actually this daily order block before we dropped. So yes, guys, that's what basically happened. So when we move to the smaller time frame, just to show you, this is the fair value gap. As you can remember, this is the fair value gap that we wanted to push into. We ended up pushing all the way into this order block right here, right? And this daily fair value gap that we were looking to push into, we ended up pushing into all of this demand zone, right? Basically all of this demand zone, and then pushed up. So yeah, guys, I'm not going to take too much time on this analysis, on this recap, because it basically went the way it needed to go. So just to do a quick recap, as you can see, remember, we were at Friday, we knew that we didn't get a full change of character to the upside, right? So what we were looking at, to either get that change of character on Monday, right, to get that change of character on Monday, or to just keep pushing down to feel that daily buy side imbalance and sell side inefficiency. And that's exactly what happened, guys. We did not get full break of a change of character, right? So we ended up pushing all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. And it was easy to actually kind of spot these sells. The only thing that was kind of hard was because the full sells, the accumulation was kind of long. The accumulation was kind of long. And as you can see, we got this manipulation. During Asian session, which we were not looking at Asian session. We don't trade during Asian session. And then we tapped into what? We tapped into this supply zone right here in Asian session, and then dropped, right? So that's when we filled this daily fair value gap. So after that, all we were looking for is at least let us get a change of character to the upside. And we ended up getting that, but over 2 days, right? So 2 sessions, basically from this London session. So we got this break of structure here. We got the change of character over here. Then the market pushed all the way up to give us higher highs to prove that we are actually going to go all the way up, and then swept all this liquidity that was resting below here, and then tapped into this order block, demand zone, in London session, gave us another change of character, and started to shoot up. So that was the trade, and what we were looking for there is simply for price to push back all the way up into that H4 fair value gap that we marked, and that's exactly what happened. But it, as you can see, guys, the daily fair value gap was overfilled. It was just rebalanced, right? And it was redelivered, I mean. And then we went all the way into redelivering the H4 sell side imbalance and buy side inefficiency. And as you can see, after we filled that, right here, we started to accumulate, right? That was when we were tapping into that order block fully, that Ep4 order block, and then dropped to create our change of character. And then from there, we pushed all the way back into this order block right here, got our engulfing candle, and we started to drop. What were we targeting now? Now we were targeting this sell side liquidity. And that's how everything happened, guys. And then from there, we basically ended off the week. So now let us get into this coming week. So when we look at, I know a lot of people don't look at, don't think it's worth it to look at the high time frames, but I like to look at the high time frames, especially on my weekly time frame, guys. Why? Because we get to see a lot of the momentum that was in the market in the previous week. So as you can see, we had two bearish weeks, right? And when we look closely, this is actually just a consolidation, right? Because we had a drop, so we can have a base drop. That's very possible, seeing that the past 2 weeks was very bearish, and before the market started to accumulate like this, it dropped. So now we can also look at this as, because we don't like to look too far, we can also look at this as a rise, a rally, rally, base, rally, right? The reason why we're looking at it bearish is because the overall structure, guys, is bearish, as you can see. Now let's move into the monthly, and as you can see that the overall structure that we're in is very much bearish, right? So this is our sell side liquidity that we're actually looking at. All right, yeah, this is the sell side liquidity that we're looking at in terms of, as soon as we break those lows and as soon as we sweep those lows, the market might just want to tap into this wick and push up, or it might want to fill all of that. So with that said, let's not look too far, guys, but we know that we are basically bearish, right? So now let's go into the weekly again. And a lovely trick that I like, is to actually look at the range that we're in and kind of mark its lows, right? And kind of mark its lows, because this can act as buy side and sell side liquidity, external range liquidity. So it can easily act as that. It can easily act as our buy side liquidity and external range liquidity, right? So it makes it easier for us to kind of work within this range and see what price is going to do when it taps into those highs and those lows, that liquidity resting there. And then going back into the daily, as you can see, guys, we're trying to look for, is there any imbalance that is close by? And the one that we see on our daily is right here, right? Which we've tapped into that imbalance right there. We've tapped into that imbalance, but guess what? We haven't tapped into the 50% of that buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. We haven't tapped into that, right? So we know that there is a possibility for the market to, as you know, the market moves from imbalance, it moves from liquidity to FVGs, right? All the time. It just keeps on moving from back and forth from those. So yeah, with that said, guys, there's a high chance for the market to be attracted to that fair value gap, right? So as in, there's a high chance for the market to want to wick up, maybe push all the way down to tap into this 50%, right? And fill it all. So we might just have a bearish week. Or if that doesn't happen, let's look above. We have our internal range liquidity right here and right here. So with that said, let's just make sure we mark that properly. We have our internal range liquidity right there. Cool. So now when we look at the previous day, which was Friday, we had a very strong bearish close. So the momentum can easily be bearish, right, to the downside. But when it is, what is it going to need to sweep? It's going to need to sweep this internal range liquidity right here and this sell side liquidity right here before it starts to think of any bullish movement, right? And then when we move to the H4, we can clearly see that we have a lot of imbalances that were created on the sell side, right? We have a lot of sell side inefficiency and price to be filled, a lot. So with that said, as you can see, this is a lot, guys. This is a lot. So since the market is so bearish, if it does sweep our liquidity to our internal range liquidity and our sell side external range liquidity, price might easily not want to then go for this fair value gap, 50% of this fair value gap. It might want to leave that for later. So it might just want to create a chocolate, I like to call it chocolate, like a change of character over there to fill maybe this fair value gap right here, or even all the way here. So now let's look at our discount and premium, right? So let's look at our discount and premium of this range. So as you can see, our discount, let's just mark it like that. It's up 50% right there. Right, that's up 50% right there. And as you can see, the price might just want to come into this fair value gap if it sweeps this liquidity, which would be nice, right? And then creates a change of character all the way into this premium price. So basically sweeping that liquidity above there. So now let's go look into a smaller time frame and see what might be more probable this coming week. So now moving to the hourly time frame, and as you can see, we haven't swept this liquidity. So we have nice equal lows right here. We have very, very clear equal lows right there. And as you know, guys, equal lows are very nice liquidity. Very nice liquidity. So they might just want to entice some buyers. They might want to entice some buyers before they sweep this liquidity. So let's just mark that right there. In fact, this is equal lows, all equal lows right here. So they might just want to entice more buyers and sweep that, or just sweep that when Monday starts, right? And let's now move into our M15 time frame, which we like so much. As you can see, basically faced with the same thing that we were faced with last week, which is price did not create a clear change of character, right? It did not create a clear change of character. So it might easily just sweep this liquidity on Monday, and then maybe Tuesday start 212, push up if it does create a change of character. And if it doesn't, we already know that it's going for that 50% of a daily fair value gap, right? So that's basically what we're going to be looking at, guys, for this coming week, is for the market to sweep our liquidity. And as you know, after liquidity is swept, you need to look for some form of change of character, right? So after liquidity is swept, you need to look for some form of change of character so that we can take this market all the way up into at least sweeping this liquidity right here, and then look for more change of characters. And if there's enough buying pressure, then it might also want to sweep this liquidity up here to go all the way into that liquidity before it creates another change of character and drops. So yeah, guys, basically that's what we are looking at. And with that said, guys, this is your man, Prof Zones, signing out. Let's have another profitable week, another week in blues. And yeah, I'll basically see you during the week. So yeah, guys, cheers.